And welcome and thank you. My name is Rob Palmerine. I'm the President slash Director of Education of Alpha Murray College of Notre Dame. This is my 25th year at the college, 7th year as president, so I guess I'm a veteran now, and after all these years. But anyway, first of all, welcome and thank you so much for taking that leap of faith and trusting our staff, our school, our community, with your son and with your daughter, because I know it's tough, especially for the parents of grade 9s. They're at such a young age, and for you as parents to make that decision, something had to move you, something had to inspire you. We happen to think that you might have had a little bit of divine inspiration somewhere along the line. We'll never know to the end times. But anyway, welcome to Notre Dame, and I just want to focus you on a couple of things. Our business is really building leaders. We want your son and your daughter to become what we call purposeful leaders with virtuous character. So purposeful means we want them to take the initiative. Okay, take that freedom, make those wise choices, and choose what's best for their life. And whether it's in the academics, the athletics, the spiritual, the dorm, the whole cultural piece. That's what initiative means. We want to train our students, form our students to take the initiative. And at the end of the day, we want them to live with virtuous character. Virtue comes from the Latin word, simply means strength, virtus. So we want them to have that strength of character to do the right thing and be people who are good and are great role models that other students, whether it's an adult or a teenager, can look up to. That's what we want. And we've had many hounds who we're so proud of as they've left Notre Dame and now they're adults, and that's exactly who they are. And some of them even come back and teach. Anyway, every year so that's our business. Leadership, whether it's in the academics, the athletics, the spiritual, the dorm, etc. Every year we have a theme. This year's is the good news, spirit of the good news. On one hand, I call it the horizontal plane. Okay, what's good news is happening today? What good news did you impart on other people today? And again, that just being that good person for yourself and for your neighbor. And it's also the vertical plane. What little message does God have to give us about the good news? So it's got a natural dimension and a supernatural dimension, the good news. We have an outstanding team. My role isn't really the students on a day-to-day basis as a president, even though my goal is to know every single one of them by name. But we have an outstanding group of directors, and it's the directors and their teams who are on the front lines with your sons and with your dad. Happen to miss something, you should watch it play.
Hi everyone, it is so nice to put faces to names. I want to thank everyone so much for all your work on the application process, applying for financial aid, getting that enrollment paperwork into us. I know it's no easy task and we appreciate that. I apologize, but I'm going to talk to you for 2 minutes about re-enrollment. I know we just got you through the door, but I just wanted you to be aware. For those of you who have sons or daughters in grades 9, 10, or 11, it will not be long until we're starting to send information about next year. And I just wanted you to be aware of one deadline in particular. If you're a returning student applying for financial aid for 2016, you guys get first kick at the can. So you're our top priority. We ask you to please apply early, no later than January 15th. So in a couple months' time, we'll be sending out a reminder and an invitation to submit that application, and you will be our first priority for funding if you can get your application in before that deadline. We'll have some more information about re-enrollment and discount deadlines and that kind of thing coming your way. Another thing I want you to be aware of, admissions is going to be very busy this fall and this spring, traveling across Canada and to a few destinations internationally, talking to new prospective families. And we absolutely invite you to come and join us at those presentations. Having the perspective of a current family and your opportunity to meet some of those prospective incoming families, that means a lot to us. So we'll let you know when we're going to be visiting your community, and we invite you to come on out and spend a couple hours with us, share your perspective, and meet some potential new families. It's kind of our opportunity to say hello, and we'd love to meet you for coffee or dinner when we're nearby. So please keep an eye out for those events. We will be posting information on those shortly. I'm going to be in my office this afternoon. If you have any more unanswered questions about anything regarding your students' enrollment, we're happy to help you out today, anytime in the future if a question comes up. So please feel free to come see me after this meeting if anything needs to be resolved.
I had the great pleasure to meet a lot of you this morning, and as I explained my role to you, it's essentially on the business and operations side of things. So, our facilities, our maintenance staff, our arena, our housekeeping, food services, and then in the business office, our finance folks and HR, IT. So all of those areas report into me, and that's kind of my responsibility. And it's a pleasure to serve the college in this way. It's kind of all those setup operations that make everything else work. So that's for me. Now, specifically, just speaking to our business office, all of you got a chance to meet a couple people from our business office, and look after kind of the finance side of things. And if you have any questions at any point on what's owing, what you need to pay, feel free to call our business office. The number's in the student handbook, my number's on our website, so feel free to call us at any point in time, and we can answer any of your questions. You will see monthly this year statement of account, and so that'll be emailed out to you. So it's real important that the contact information that you have for yourself, the email addresses, is correct, so that we can send that to you on a regular basis. What you'll see on your statement of account is something that we call chargebacks. So that's primarily your sports teams, your hockey, your basketball, soccer, whatever it is that your son or daughter is doing. There's a cost assigned to that for their travel and meals and things associated with their sport. So any of those miscellaneous charges will get put on your account. You'll see it on your statement of account. And if you can just keep that clean as the year goes on, when re-enrollment comes up, you'll be in good shape. So again, if you have any questions related to that, feel free to call our business office.
I didn't get the dress code memo to have a shirt pocket. My name is Dick Cornish, and I'm the Director of Student Life, and so really what I'm in charge of is recess and playtime. I work with all the house parents in the dormitory and healthcare. Sharon Bryce will come up and talk a little bit about healthcare, and with the activities coordinators as well. So I got a lot of things on this slide, but I'm just going to touch on them briefly. The dormitories, you got to meet the house parents, and hopefully you got an opportunity to meet the people that really help make it happen too, which is our house leader team. Our house leaders came back early. They've been through first aid training, they've been through mediation training, and they're excited about working with your youngsters this year. They're senior students. They've been selected for their leadership qualities. As Rob said, we want to build leaders. We hope that someday your kids are coming back early and they're being house leaders for us here as well. Lots of leadership opportunities available here. They help things run. If you're coming by, this is your kids' home. It's hopefully your home. You feel like you can drop by. And the big thing is just check in with your house parents about everything. Let them know when you're coming. If you're coming during the day and you just drop by, check in with Carol Duncan, and we'll make sure that things get dropped off or sent or whatever. There's lots of things that have to happen all the time. Leave policy and holiday travel. Britt's saying, January, we're going to ask you to start thinking about Thanksgiving. So if you live far away and your son or daughter is not traveling all the way home for Thanksgiving, we ask you to start thinking about where they're staying. Get us your travel documents in advance. Carol Duncan arranges all the buses and taxis and transports, and we evaluate evacuate here in about 4 hours on leave days, so she's got to be very organized. So the better and the earlier you get stuff in on, it makes it easier for her to arrange for all that travel. Our leave policy is, if you're going to take your child away or if he's going with somebody else, he or she, please have that in on Wednesday, because it gives us an idea about activities, food services, all those things that are happening, because some weekends we'll have lots of kids away. We encourage them to stay for the weekends. So when we have student activities, which is at the bottom, we push those at the weekend too. Sometimes on the weekend the kids just need to rest because they're so busy here, and they push themselves very hard, and so it's nice to have a little bit of time off. But it's also nice to have that social recreational time that's not structured for them. And Carolyn and her team do a great job of that. She has 4 teams of students. Each one's responsible for a week in her SRC. Last year they had exciting new crazy sports like bubble soccer, which they have, I think there was some pictures of it online last year, wasn't it? Where they have these big blow-up plastic soccer balls around them and they knock each other silly. So they have lots of fun here, and they've got lots of opportunity to do those pieces. Cell phone policy, really, you don't use your cell phone in social areas. We'll define that for them. They don't have their cell phones after curfew. We take them away so they don't have that temptation to have that screen in their face all night texting. And they don't get them back until after school. And so that avoids the temptation of having those pieces during school. So cell phone policy, it'll be explained to them in detail tonight in their dorm meetings. Also rules. There are lots of rules, but really Per Murray, they said he ran the dorms with 2 rules: respect and bed at 11. And really that's what we're talking about. The rules for living together are about respecting yourself and respecting others. And so any of those rules and pieces that calve off of that, they're really about the respect piece. So the kids, again, they'll get to an outline of all that tonight and tomorrow in their dorm meetings, and they'll be able to report in on you and tell you what those rules are. Social media policy, really we treat social media as an open forum here. It's like letters to the editor. If you had to send a letter to the editor in the leader post, you would expect that everyone's able to read it. And really we have to assume in social media that everybody's able to read it. So we also know that kids are learning about these things. We'll do some work with them on it. We'll support them to use social media appropriately, but there's also some accountability if we use it inappropriately. They'll sign a social media policy with our IT department, and we'll help them to be accountable for that and to learn how to use that, because even as adults sometimes we struggle with appropriate use of social media. If you have questions about anything, your first line is the house parent. Give them a call. They've been excited for the last 2 weeks. Wilcox is like a ghost town when the kids aren't here. There's tumbleweeds going down Main Street, and so they're pretty excited to have your kids back and to meet all the new ones that are here, and you're the parents of the new ones. So next year when you're returners, you'll see lots of knowing responses and hugs. This time we're just meeting you for the first time. So get to know your house parent, be in contact with them regularly, and if you can't get them, you can always get in contact with myself or Carol during the day. Welcome to Notre Dame. We're a big family here. We live in those dorms together, and we're gonna have a great year.
Hi everyone, welcome to Notre Dame. My name is Kate McLean and I'm the Principal and Director of Academics. It's quite a mouthful. And it's been a pretty busy morning, so you're probably on information overload. But this time last year I think it was 30 degrees outside, so at least we can count our blessings and the weather has been accommodating. I get a chance to touch base on why you're here. I actually had a comical moment with a student outside who I asked him if he got his schedule and he drew a blank, and I said, you know your schedule? And he drew a blank, and I said, you know, math, science, English, the reason you're here? Oh yeah, I got that. Well, he was carrying his hockey bag. So I get the chance to talk to you about school. And it's a pleasure of mine. We have a great staff. We have an excellent group of returning students tomorrow that your kids will get a chance to meet. And I guess what's critical to our academic program is time. Your kids are busy kids, that's why they're here. We are a fantastic school, and for 100 years, or almost 100 years, we've been able to give them a little bit of everything, quite a balance. We generate excellent athletes, excellent young people, excellent leaders, and excellent academics. And we are committed to doing that here in this little village. Keeps them close, and it keeps them accountable, and it keeps us successful. So as much as possible, we need our kids in seats with their teachers getting the education that they've committed to, that you've committed to, and that you've made the sacrifice for them to commit to. So our leave policy is fairly strict, I think, but for very good reason. Your kids in athletic programming are going to miss class, and we're committed to that. We want to accelerate their athletic programs. We want to offer them opportunities, so they're gone for tournaments, or they're gone for special events. Or your students might be those athletes that are playing at the provincial level, and we want to honor that as well. So when they're not involved in those critical programs, we need them in school. We would like our parents to keep their kids in school. So around our breaks, we actually have tests before Thanksgiving, Easter, and Christmas. We have a major assessment period that our teachers are all committed to. And that means that your kids have tests the week prior to those departures. And part of that is to commit to them being here to write those tests. And so in your planning, we ask that you really look at your calendars, and you really look at the schedules ahead of you, and your students remain on campus until the deadline before those breaks, and that's at 3:25 on the Thursday. So that's when I talk about our leave policy. And something new this year, the process in the past has been to email me for a leave request during academic time. As you can imagine, I get inundated with emails. So we actually have a leave request at notredame.ca email. So watch your emails from Notre Dame. You'll get a notification from the academic office telling you how to go about requesting leaves for your child. So in the next week or so here, you want to watch for that notification, okay? Tablets, we're really excited. We're into year 3 of the tablet program. We're the only place like this in the province, and we're one of a very few in Western Canada. So we're very proud of our accomplishment here. Your kids might seem a little, well, they're excited because they just got a new tablet today. So who's kidding who? They're pumped. Whether they know what to do with it or not is really irrelevant. But you can be pleased to know that tomorrow we do have Ed Tech, which is teachers and our IT, set up to provide orientation for those kids. And we also plan to have, we wade our way into the school year. So the priority is learning. These are a tool that we can use to facilitate their learning and also to expand their classroom beyond the village of Wilcox. So they're in a global classroom. Believe it or not, we actually have more bandwidth in this little village than some of the entire school divisions in the province of Saskatchewan. So we're pretty excited about our high-tech education system. Online grades, you won't discover anything new until probably, I would say, I think it's October when we finally post the online grades, and I'll tell you why. How many of you are parents of hockey players? Okay, welcome to Notre Dame. They've been talking about it, I'm sure, for years. The reality is that our hockey program is a tryout process. So I will tell you now, your students will have academic schedules. Some of you may have to check in with us, or your kids do, in the next couple days, and we finalize their academic schedule. But the truth is, those schedules aren't settled until we pick our hockey teams. The priority for us is their core subjects and their critical requirements. So sometimes electives change. Students go from drama to music, or from comm media to art, and we have those conversations with your kids, but they would never forfeit science or English or math, the required classes. So just a heads up, and because those courses don't settle for the first few weeks of school, we don't really have grades to post. Having said that, you're welcome to contact the teachers. You'll hear from them in the next little bit. You're welcome to contact how's my son or daughter doing in class, or talk to your kids, because you know now they're going to be tech savvy and they do have access to their email on a daily basis. So our dishonesty policy, our academic dishonesty policy is actually posted on our website, and you can breeze through it if you like. It's not unfamiliar to you. It would be similar to a lot of other schools. We do have a very nurturing approach. approach, I think, but we also have to be responsible. So when our students are inadvertently committing academic dishonesty, and by that I mean cheating or plagiarism or copying things, we have the conversation. We do have a policy in place for a reprimand of sorts. But when students are knowingly engaging in academic dishonesty, we have a more strict policy in place, and it can go up to as much as a suspension from school. We don't have an automatic expulsion for academic dishonesty, now some would argue we should, but for the most part, I believe that our teachers educate the kids right up front, and we haven't gone to suspension in a long time. Not in my experience. So our kids are very well informed and very much accountable. So that's what small classes allow us to do. GLC is a guided learning center. Those of you who have gone through the admission process, you probably met me before, so I apologize if you don't look familiar. You all look familiar, but I wouldn't remember names. But you would have heard that we have a lot of support in place at Notre Dame, and that's a big priority for us. So after school from Monday to Thursday, we have a guided learning center. It's voluntary as well as it's assigned. So if our students are slipping through the cracks, we make sure they're over there accountable to their math and humanities teachers. If they are but our students, a lot of our top students will engage in that guided learning center voluntarily just to plan their schedules. If they know they're going to a tournament, they'll go to GLC on Tuesday, Thursday and get their math done before they head out. So that's GLC. Dress code. We do have a dress code. We do commit to our dress code. We have a practice in place that if our students show up to school or assembly and they're not following dress code, we have a 3-strike rule, and on the 3rd strike they're actually suspended from school for a day. Last year we may have had 1 suspension. It rarely happens. Once again, the kids, once they figure it out, they usually are on board, and it's not a really strict dress code. It's just a matter of pointing out your priority from 8:15 to 3:25 is your education, not your fashion. So and we want to make sure that you're clean and tidy and ready to go. It's a professional expectation of our staff as well. And then our academic day. We actually start our academic day at 8:15. All of our teachers are available for extra support. Again, this time is used by the teachers. It's directed by the teachers, and sometimes the kids are welcome to come attend. Other times the kids are told they have to be there at 8:15 for some extra support. And then we start as a group, 8:45 every day, assembly. And we begin our school day with prayer, with the national anthem, with the opportunity to gather as a community, with sports scores and sports announcements, with special announcements for our community, and by 9:05 they're in their classes ready to go. And they have 3 classes in the morning and two classes in the afternoon. We also have a leadership class. I'm not sure if it comes on a next slide, but I'll just mention it here. Inserted 20 times, so 10 times per semester throughout the academic day, we have what's called a virtual leadership program, and we have a curriculum, and we actually teach this to our kids. And a shack is a multi-grade same-sex classroom, so it would be a boys' shack 9 to 12. And they have a teacher and a virtue lesson that they would commit to and they discuss. And so over the course of the semester, they come to know this group of people very well based on the conversations that they've had that have been directed by the theme of that virtue, like citizenship or charity or integrity. And so those virtues, they overlap with all of our programming. They permeate throughout the college. They're inserted in the athletic programming, and the kids get a chance to really kind of live out that virtue over a 2-week period, and that's facilitated through our leadership program. And the clubs at Notre Dame. So for those of you who are hockey players, you'll be excited to know that we love our hockey players to engage in all kinds of other things. It's not just hockey, and our hockey players do here. Our students are committed to a variety of different sports, but in addition, we also have our clubs. We have an art club, we have a choral club, our choir, there's an example of them there, they're fantastic. We could use a few men, so if your son is interested in singing, give him a shove in our direction and we'll add him to the choir. they're fantastic under the leadership of Lisa Welder, and she's classically trained, so they do a fantastic job. We also have a drama club. Our drama performs at Christmas time, and then again we have a spring fling in May, and that includes all of our music programming, art programming, and choral programming. So our drama club is very committed to putting on some pretty significant programs and plays, and we're pretty excited about it. Multimedia, we have, I think it's outrageous the number of photos that we take on this campus. Just a show of hands, how many of you have been on our website? So all of the pictures you should know on our website are student pictures. Our students take those pictures. Our multimedia program is very wealthy. We have probably, and I don't mean financially, I mean by bodies. We have probably, I would say 30 kids that are committed to taking pictures on campus. So when your kids play hockey, we've got someone in the stands who's willing to take, probably 1,200 pictures of that hockey game. So it's a lot of photos. But the fact of the matter is our multimedia program keeps you connected to your kids. So keep checking the photo gallery, keep looking at those pictures, read the captions, because your kids will be on there. And it's kind of your day-to-day, a day in the life acknowledgement of what those kids are up to and doing. So that's our multimedia program. We got some amazing artists in that program. And then yearbook, of course, we have some students that are committed to doing the yearbook. Our yearbook is online, as is everything nowadays. So those kids are actually applying the online program that's available for them to create publishing. That's the word I was looking for. They're doing online publishing, so they're actually exercising something that they could use in the future, and some have actually gone out of that to graphic design. And then lastly is SRC, and I think Dick already mentioned that. So that's connected to our student activities. So our students actually, our SRC is in one leadership shack together so that they can kind of use that opportunity to connect during the academic day to motivate what are some great activity planning and leadership opportunities on our campus.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sharon Bryce. I am the manager of health care and our training room. I have a team that consists of nurses, emergency van drivers, healthcare attendants. Those all work out of our healthcare building. Our team also consists of athletic therapists and a skate sharpener that work out of our training room. We have a nurse on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week when our students are on campus. Healthcare operates 7 days a week this year, from 8:30 in the morning till 10 at night. Monday to Thursday, and on Friday we are open from 8:30 until 4 p.m. On the weekends we're open from 10 till 3 this year. The training room is open when there's teams booked on the ice, so you'll see athletic therapists in the training room at that time. Each student this year will be pre-concussion tested. Your children will be tested tomorrow with one of our athletic therapists through online training or online testing program called Impact. So this is a pre-concussion test that allows us to have a baseline of what normal is for your child, so that if they ever do have a concussion, we know what normal is compared to what it's like after they're concussed. Hopefully you guys won't need that, but we do that baseline just in case. Some of our services that we include in healthcare are if anyone's injured or ill, we are there to help them get through the day. So any kind of struggles that they have, whether it be physical, emotional, mental health-wise, we're there to help support them so they can be successful. We have a physician that comes once a week. He's here on Friday mornings. So he helps, he's a sports medicine specialist as well as an instructor for the family medicine unit at the health region. We also have psychologists who come out from Regina every second week, so they help support your children when they're having struggles. They'll give them healthy coping skills so that they can be successful and move forward from there. We also take students to Regina on a regular basis for healthcare needs. So if your child is ill and it doesn't happen to be around the Friday mark when the doctor's coming in, we'll actually take them into Regina after consulting with the doctor to see what he would recommend, and either take them to our doctor, or we have a link with another walk-in clinic. Or if it's a little bit more urgent, we may take them in to emergency and have them seen by emergency. So that happens Monday to Friday. We also take kids in for braces, the tightening of the braces or taking off braces, that sort of thing. We ask that normal dental appointments and eye appointments happen during school breaks so that they're not missing school. As Kate mentioned, we want your kids in those seats in the classrooms as much as possible, so we only take them in if absolutely necessary. I made notes so I didn't miss anything this year. Okay, so when your children come to healthcare, you will get an email for us from healthcare or our athletic therapists for anything that's non-minor. And I'll use an example, and some of you who've spoken to me earlier today. So if they come in with an earache and they just have some wax in the ear, you may not get a letter from healthcare or an email from healthcare. Whereas if they come in with an earache and they have a perforated eardrum, then you will get an email from healthcare saying, this is what's happened and this is what we're doing about it. So that way you're aware of the health of your child ongoing. Please ensure if you've brought any medications, including Tylenol, vitamins, anything like that, please give it to your house parent. I like to be aware of when your children are taking any kind of medication so that if we do have to take them into hospital for any reason, we know what they've taken and when they've taken it. Also, if your child has something that they are regularly taking Tylenol or Advil for, say they take Tylenol every day at 4 o'clock for a sore knee, I'd like to know about that so that I can touch base with them and see what's causing the pain and how we get rid of that pain rather than them continuing to take medication for it.
If you look at the two back doors there's a gap, there's a window up there that has no stained glass, like all these other stained glass, but there soon will be a stained glass of Father Athol Murray. When we're going to install and unveil that, we'll let you know, and it'll be on the news headlines. So segueing into Father Murray, started in 1920 by the Sisters of Charity of St. Louis, a religious order of nuns, and then Father Murray comes 7 years later in 1927, and the two get together, and this is Notre Dame. This is the result 95 years later. And one of their, I guess, one of the primary foundational pieces of the school is laid out in that stained glass window just beside the screen there. Christopher Dawson says, primacy of the spiritual. So at Notre Dame, we want our kids to be introduced or reintroduced or to continue their walk with God. So that's a key component of spiritual development at Notre Dame. And how is that expressed? We have daily prayer at assembly over here in Varsity Hall. Wednesdays, we have a gospel reflection right here in St. Augustine Church. All of our grade 12s and all of our grade 11s actually will take a turn to lead a reflection. Some of them are kind of cool. They act them out on Wednesday, or they put them into a PowerPoint, or they create videos. And so they're quite creative. Others are simply read out, but they're also profound. So that's a piece of the spiritual development. We also worship God. So Sunday mornings, 10:45 at St. Augustine, the Lord's Day, we gather here. Father J.R. Prince is our priest, so we worship God. We do it as a community, and we made this decision about 20 years ago. Why should we do that? And it's really a parenting thing. This is our Notre Dame family. We study together, we play sports together, we eat together, we go cheer on our teams on a red and white night together. Well, let's worship God together. So that's what we do Sunday morning, and that's I call that the vertical phase of the spiritual development. The horizontal phase, where we reach out to our neighbor, it actually starts in the dorm. Servant leadership is a key component to what we want every single Notre Dame hound. We want them thinking of how can I help the next person. So if it's giving my roommate math help, or if it's being a house leader, or if it's being a captain on your team, that's servant leadership. We also have things where we go in our Christian ethics classes. Every kid is going to be involved in the Works of Mercy program. So one time per year, they're going to jump in a van. We're going to go to Regina. We're going to go to 4 little elementary schools, and we're going to help the little ones read and write and do recess, you know. And again, we're giving back. We're helping to the community, serve the greater community. And then we also have a group called Hounds for Humanity who do extra works of mercy, like give blood, do food and clothing collections, and then give it to people who need it in Regina. So a key piece, besides the worshiping God and the praying God, is also serving your neighbor on a day-to-day basis. And you know what? We have a pretty good track record of Hounds who've done that. And again, we put those up on our website. A couple other things. We also, grade 12s last year led the grade level retreats. And so we're going to continue with that this year. Each grade will have a little morning of reflection where they'll leave the academic classes, gather in here as a class, and the grade 12s will lead them through. And even individual teams have little spirit nights or retreat nights. It all depends on what their coach wants to do. And we also have a youth group. So once things get up and going, we'll see which kids want to be involved in youth group and which is the best night to do it. And then finally, we have sacramental preparation. So if your son or daughter is interested in being baptized or confirmed, that option's available. So any questions on that, feel free to contact me or go back to Rob Kruger in the gym at the Spiritual Development Station.
I am the high school athletic coordinator here. I'm overseeing, shouldn't say running, our coaches do a great job, I just need to help them out. We actually run about 23 different sports teams here at Notre Dame outside of hockey. Notre Dame is not just hockey, we've got tons of athletes. So we have traditional sports like high school football and the bantam and high school age groups and the senior boys, soccer for boys and girls, and we run all the traditional sports. We also have some less traditional sports like ultimate frisbee in the spring. I could go through all of them and list them all off for you, but there's quite a few. Okay. We also facilitate those athletes that are interested in, say, in some individual sports that we might not offer. We can facilitate them getting into Regina for training. We had a girl here a few years ago who was really quite good at Taekwondo. We managed to help facilitate her pursuing her dreams in that sport. We really want to support the multi-sport athlete here at Notre Dame. Okay. Your son or daughter may have played many sports as they grow up and are slowly narrowing down to 1 or 2 key sports. We want them to be able to continue that in this environment. We want this to be a place where they can do both. You can play football and hockey at the same time. Our coaches communicate, coordinate an awful lot to make sure we're on the same page. Where in fact, Del and I are on so much the same page, we actually dressed the same today, and we didn't even plan it. Okay. So we are communicating, coordinating. We also want your athletes, your son or daughters, to consider trying new sports, new experiences. Even if it's just something low-key like ultimate frisbee or something completely alien to them like the sport of rugby. We've had lots of athletes come through Notre Dame, come in the door with one sport to focus on, and they leave with another talent that takes them all the way and they pursue a dream in another sport. Okay? So we really want to make sure you understand that we support the multi-sport athlete. If you have any concerns, please contact me. You can contact me through the website. My office is right next to the gymnasium.
Welcome you here. From the hockey side, I have 3 brief points. The biggest thing you're probably hearing time and time again from all of our departments is communication is important, and we are here for you as a family, as our clients, as our customers, and more importantly, for your children, our students. So we want to open that up. The process here is finalizing of our teams takes place over the next 3 weeks. As the boys and girls have come here, they're going to be hitting the ice, and all teams will be finalized by the 3rd or 4th week in September. Starting times are different due to SHA regulations, but because we want to be time sensitive, as there are potential change classes, we do that fairly quickly. How that process works, we utilize intra-squad games, so the kids will play against each other. Then we also have practices where we'll teach them techniques and tactics that they can adapt and put into their gameplay, and we'll also utilize exhibition games. The evaluation process is ongoing throughout the year. We want to give feedback to you as parents and your children from their coaches. The teams and the leagues that we're going to play in. We have 3 female teams. One team will play in the female AA South Sask League. The other team will play, AAA team will play in the Saskatchewan Provincial League. And then the junior women's plays in a North American League, really, where they have a North Division that's based anywhere from Winnipeg all the way out to Vancouver, and then an East Division that ranges from Ottawa into the Boston area that way. They do showcase events. The number of games that they play, female teams typically are a 28-game regular season play. Then there is some tournament play on top of that. Our Bantam program has 2 teams. Our AA team plays in the South Sask Bantam League. It's a 31-game schedule, also supplemented by tournament play. Typically the Bantams will go to 2 to 3 tournaments, and the AAAs actually play into a midget AA league, and that is a 38-game schedule. The Tier 2s in our midget league, Hockey Regina plays a 26-game schedule, and again, probably into a 3-tournament rotation to get the game play up to where we want it. Our Tier 1s play in a South Sask League, which is a 38-game schedule, and our AAAs play in a 44-game schedule. And our goal as you come into Notre Dame is we want to graduate you as a hound. So if you're here as a grade 10 parent, we'd like to welcome you there. We look forward to having your son for a couple of years or daughter for a couple of years. Or if you're here as a grade 9, we're even excited to have you for more time. But that is our overall goal in that. Communication. We want to welcome you here and make you feel a part of our program as a important key to the program. Feel free to contact our coaches or our office. I oversee the whole hockey department. You're welcome to email or call me at any time. Some people kind of say, well, that's taboo, you don't do that, and that sort of thing. Our people are very direct and very open and honest with you. We'll definitely let you know what our parameters are in terms of communication and what we're going to do. You're also welcome to contact your coach. Look forward to consistent communication through the Hockey Phys Ed skills curriculum. They will be contacting you through their academic class. I also want you to have that dialogue so you can plan. You want to attend a tournament. Where's the team staying? What's the itinerary and that sort of thing. I want to remind you there are certain guidelines we want to follow in terms of communication. Sometimes with sport we get a little close to it and we have to remove ourselves. If those are that type of situation and you find yourself in a challenging situation, you don't know what to do, I ask you first wait one day, okay, and then make the communication. And that might be the coach's response or my response sometimes. I may get an email from you, I may take a look at it or get a phone call, I might call you right back, and then we'll decide a plan from there. But we want you to be able to communicate with us, and we are open to that. But we're looking forward to a great year, looking forward to get to know each and every one of you as much as we can. Thank you again for your sons and daughters. All the best. Sure. Marketing communication just in with this late edition, but Don wanted me to mention we are going to live stream all of our games is our goal. It might be a little bit slow starting, but Don's department, so for you at home, you're able to tune into your son or daughter's games and home games, pardon me, yes, that's a good clarification, but we're going to start live streaming all the home games so that you can keep track of their progress.
Afternoon here. So my name is Mark Budikoff. I'm the Director of Development here at Notre Dame, and what development means is we work with the leaders and alumni, past parents from around the globe to be able to provide Notre Dame with the funds it needs in order to be able to keep this amazing school going. With the 95-year history, we have amazing hounds from all over the world who are out there changing things and leading communities. We had a couple great hounds, Keith Hawley and Jaden Schwartz on the ice this morning, coming back to be able to practice. And so regardless of what your son or daughter wants to be able to accomplish in their life, this is where it can start for them. And we want to be able to support them for the rest of their lives. So our alumni program, we're very proud of the work that's gone into it in the last few years. We hold events across the world this year with pub nights from Sydney, Australia to Ottawa, Ontario, Vancouver, BC, where hounds can get together, share stories of the shacks, talk about different things that they've been able to accomplish in their lives, and hopefully be able to support each other in building their local networks. When a hound, we're working towards the point where a hound moves to a community, the first call they get is from another hound to be able to make sure that they've got the supports that they need. And because while this is day one for your sons and daughters, this is a lifetime journey for them now as part of the Notre Dame community, and we're happy to be able to have them as well as you being able to join us. So this is just a shot of our alumni webpage. You are welcome and encouraged to attend any of these events. If you're anybody in Alberta, our alumni group there is hosting a golf tournament on September 13th, and it's just a great opportunity opportunity to be able to celebrate Notre Dame and the experience that your sons and daughters are going through, but to be able to get to know a little bit about the network that they've now joined. Our office, and you've would have gotten a chance to meet Myra and Deanne this morning at registration. So we work with sponsors and donors and alumni from all over the world, and it's our privilege to be able to help to provide the great programs that are here. And so at any time, this is a team effort, and so like live stream, this is support through sponsorship. And so if you know businesses, and we were handing out information this morning who could help us out, it helps to be able to improve the experience for our students. It helps for you to be able to connect a little bit on a more regular basis and to be part of the action here in Wilcox that is going on. So we're very, very grateful. This is an exciting time. This has been a ton of information for you. I know when I came on my recruitment trip and drove home, the radio was off because there's just so much information. But we're very grateful. We're thankful that you've chosen Notre Dame for your young hound to come and to begin an amazing lifelong journey. And this is going to be well worth it for them. And they're going to get a ton of experiences that you never thought possible. And probably the best things that they're going to get out of it are things that you never expected. So thank you very much for choosing Notre Dame, and we look forward to getting to know you over the next 1, 2, 4 years, however long we're here together. So